family realm in particular. And tonight's probably the trickiest one of them all. It's the right of... Assalamu alaikum. It's the right of... No one heard him though, he's cute, mashallah, my friend. It's the rights within the marital relationship, so the rights between spouses. Now, as you all know, there are many classes on the fiqh of love and marriage and things of that sort. Sheikh Yasir Rajas obviously teaches his class as well. And you always have to offer like 200 disqualifiers before you make any statement in regards to the rights of the husband over the wife or the rights of the wife over the husband. So I'm not even going to attempt to give you all a complete handbook and manual as to how the rights function between a husband and a wife. However, we can look at the frames that were given to us by the Prophet ﷺ and the basic rights, and then from those frames we can build upon the spirit of the Sunnah in regards to these rights. I also want to make something very clear, that every one of these, once again, speaks to the general situation. There are nuances, there are exceptions, and a lot of times those are not taken into consideration in a hadith that's one sentence. But they are supposed to be general rules that we govern our lives by, that we govern our families by, that we govern our societies by. So last week when we talked about children, there were a few questions that came after that. Well, what if one child does this and one child does that? There are always going to be those what ifs, but at the same time, again, we're looking at the frames that are given to us by the Prophet ﷺ. So how did Islam conceptualize the rights within a marriage? It starts off with a hadith that's narrated by Muawiyah al-Qushayri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And we're going to talk about the rights of the wife and the rights of the husband, and then how that all comes together in the discussion of the prophetic tradition. Muawiyah al-Qushayri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, I went to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and I asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ما تقول في نسائنا, what do you say about our women? What do you say about our wives? How are we supposed to understand the relationship between... That way. Oh, sorry. I need to have someone playing bodyguard, man. Sorry. All right. It's funny, I never make an announcement about the back room, but today everyone's messing with me with the back room. Okay, he went to Hajj with me, so he gets a pass. So where was I? Does anyone remember what I was saying? What do we say about our women? What do we say about our wives? Okay. So when he asked the Prophet ﷺ that question, he was asking the Prophet ﷺ that question in regards to particularly how we conceptualize or rights, or what rights do they have upon me. Now the Prophet ﷺ uses strong language here, and that's from the wisdom of the Prophet ﷺ. When he's speaking to a person, he understands the intent of the question. So it's a very simple question. So the Prophet ﷺ could have said simply, show them ihsan, show them excellence. But the Prophet ﷺ understands the spirit of that question, where that question is coming from, and so he addresses it with very strong language. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, أَطْعِمُوهُنَّ مِمَّا تَأْكُلُونَ, give them food from what you have for yourself, meaning the same thing that you provide for yourself, you should provide for them. وَكْسُوهُنَّ مِمَّا تَكْتَسُونَ, and you clothe them, not with the same thing that you clothe yourself, but with the same quality of clothing that you clothe yourself, meaning that provisions should be in the same way that you would want to be provided for. And then he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَلَا تَضْرِبُوهُنَّ وَلَا تُقَبِّحُونَ. So, وَلَا تَضْرِبُوهُنَّ means don't hit them. Okay? وَلَا تُقَبِّحُوهُنَّ means don't revile them, don't belittle them. So it's not just the physical abuse piece, but it's also emotional abuse.